name is Matt Wigton, and I'm a bassist and composer and producer living in New York City. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, which I guess I would call that home, although I've kind of lived all over the United States, which I'm also proud of because I've seen a lot of this really great country. So, but now I'm in New York, and I absolutely love it there, and I'm a freelance bassist. I also play in quite a few different bands, ranging in a variety of different styles, from avant-garde, electronica, jazz, indie rock, and I've been a session bass player there as well, doing commercial jingles, and I've even done some opera and some classical music. So I've been there for 4 years now, though. I got into jazz kind of, I guess, like a freak accident. The same friend, this guitar player, that asked me to just play bass, and I just said, okay, yes, and my parents got me this electric bass. Well, eventually he started getting into jazz, and that was when I came upon the music of Wes Montgomery, which, him being a guitar player, he was checking out some Wes tunes like 4 on 6 and some really great tunes like that Wes wrote, and so I started learning this and playing this, and I had no idea what I was doing. I just tried to mimic like what he was doing, and I didn't really even know the role of a bass, and even when I was playing along with P-Funk records and old like Aretha Franklin records, and listening to bass players like James Jamerson, like I still was kind of noodling around trying to find like what a bass actually does. And it wasn't until I got into college that I feel like I really started understanding the role of a bass player, and I came across jazz bass players like Ray Brown and Paul Chambers and Charlie Hayden and John Patitucci, and that kind of put me into a better place and gave me a stronger foundation. My true love is composing. That's something I have done for a very long time. And I really love it because it's like therapy for me. I'm able to put my thoughts out onto paper and then give it to musicians to translate in their own ways and hope that they relate to what I'm trying to express. And moving to New York City was, I think, the beginning of the end for me. Like it's just such a great city, and it's got so much history, and there is just so much great music coming out of there in all styles. And I just am constantly finding inspiration every day.
My name is Nate Radley, and I'm the guitarist in Zach's band. And I was born in Concord, New Hampshire. I'm from the Northeast, and I'm living in New York right now in Brooklyn. I started off as a rock guitar player like most guitar players my age at this point. I mean, we started off being, teenage rock guitar players, and my interest in rock music led me into an interest in blues, and then that led me into an interest in jazz, and then, just kind of one thing led to another, and something about jazz really captivated my interest, and it's been kind of an obsession since then. It can be intellectually stimulating in terms of there's a real intellectual challenge to it. It's hard music to play, and then there's a lot of diversity within jazz, and so you get into one thing within jazz, and then you realize, wow, there's so many other different things within that form. There's so much history to it that it never really gets boring. I try to listen to the people around me. I try to listen to the composition that's being played. I'm always looking for the shape of the piece that's being played, and so I think I respond to the environment, I respond to the people that are playing with me, and I respond to the piece that we're playing, and hopefully that helps me to be spontaneous and in the moment, which is a really important part of playing jazz music. I think there's a lot of energy to this music that we're playing, and so I think that creates a strong impact right there. I think that there's a lot of space for each of us within the band to tell our own stories on each of the compositions, so hopefully they'll be attracted. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of musicians in the audience, or if there are a lot of people that are not necessarily so used to hearing jazz music, but I would hope that they'd be really interested in hearing what these different instruments can do and how players can really tell stories with their instruments over a composition. I think that's one of the most interesting things about jazz.
One of the great things I can say about Zach is he puts the music first. I've certainly played with a lot of band leaders who, you know, even though I might really enjoy their music, sometimes forget that. You know, they might get wrapped up in the financial difficulties of, you know, putting on a tour, those sorts of things. And I think he really understands what makes the music happen. And it's just a total honor and a pleasure playing with him and playing his music. You know, he plays at such a high level, and as with any great musician, it, you know, forces you to come up to that level too, and it just makes the music that much better. I'm starting to try to return to doing a little bit of writing and thinking about my own project. The first, you know, 4 or 5 years here in New York have just been about meeting people and getting established and trying to be out there, and I've really had to put any aspirations about pursuing my own ideas to the side. And I'm just starting to get back into that now. I have a whole bunch of, you know, electronic music and computer music that I'm working on, and I'm bringing that together with my jazz playing, and it's kind of all the disparate elements, all the different types of bands I play in. I'm taking pieces of these and putting it together, and I kind of hope to get my own thing off the ground in the next year.